77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Joining me right now, the man himself, Gordon G. Chang on Twitter. The great Gordon Chang, as President Trump gets set to go meet Xi Thursday and Friday in China. Gordon, good Monday morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm fine, Sid, and thank you so much.
Great to have you back. Before we get to this big China visit, I'm going to be honest. I took a vote about 30 minutes ago. My guys are on the show, you know, Gord. Lou and Noam and Justin. I said, if I ask Gordon Chang in 30 minutes, which is now, the Hunter virus, did that originate in some wet lab in China, much like the coronavirus? What do you think he says? And do you know it was unanimous? 4 for 4 said that Gordon will say that, yes, this virus was created somewhere, also not very long before the midterms. Good timing. What do you think the truth is about this latest virus?
I hate to disappoint your guys, but I don't know the answer to that question.
Son of a gun.
I mean, we don't have any evidence that it popped out of China. Now, if this were Ebola, I would say almost certainly it came from China, because we know that the Wuhan Institute of Virology, those friends who gave us COVID-19, are now weaponizing Ebola. And we know that they're working on other diseases as well. But hantavirus, you know, I wish I knew the answer.
All right, at least you're honest. Let's get to what's going to happen on Thursday. This trip was supposed to happen last month, but of course the Iran war made sure that Trump didn't go, but he is going this Thursday. It's a big 2-day meeting with Xi. Trump posted on social media recently, President Xi will give me a big bat hug when I get there in a few weeks. We're working together smartly and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? So Trump is telling everybody things are all good, but I'm hearing reports that China is still supplying Iran with weapons, maybe through the Caspian Sea, that China is very involved in keeping Iran afloat in this war against America. Does Trump not know that, or is he just being very nice? What's the truth, China and Iran?
Yeah, I don't know what Trump actually knows, but he does have the U.S. intelligence community. So my answer would be he must know the Chinese are supplying the Iranians with weapons that the Iranians are using to kill Americans. So, for instance, those 6 Americans who were killed on March 1st, those were Iranian drones. Every Iranian drone has Chinese microchips or microchips that the Chinese sourced from others. So, yeah, I'm sure Trump knows. But it's, you know, I actually think that it's incumbent on him to tell the American people what he knows, because these are the lives of American service people at risk.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know what he does. He's trying to make sure that he gets there. It's all nice and he can get stuff done. He's a brilliant tactician when it comes to that, especially with people you don't get along with, right? North Korea, China, Putin. He's the best at that. Maybe the best ever. But the truth is that China is helping the enemy. Now, China's in a tough spot here because the U.S. blockade at the Strait of Hormuz is preventing China from accessing Iran's oil, which they need. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of their oil comes from that strait. So they're in a tough spot in that, A, they're actually helping Iran, but B, they need Iran to back off the strait because they need the oil. They're kind of playing both sides here, no?
Oh, yeah. China gets, first of all, last year it took 87.2%, I think, of Iran's exports of crude. China gets somewhere between 45 to 50% of its seaborne imports of oil from the Strait of Hormuz. And also, we know that China's the world's largest importer of crude oil. So, yeah, they're hurting. We saw this in the April CPI numbers from Beijing, which were released a few hours ago. And so, Trump has an important card that he can play. Trump goes to Beijing, and you got to look at the context. He goes to Beijing carrying certain built-in disadvantages. So, for instance, the Chinese view every foreign leader who comes as no more than a tribal chieftain coming to pay homage. Xi Jinping is especially arrogant. To make that worse, Xi Jinping is now secure, and he's propagating a lot of anti-American narratives. And, of course, Trump didn't go for the March 31 summit because of the Iran war, but the Iran war is still ongoing. And so the Chinese view this as Trump coming to ask for their help. That's not a good look. But, Trump is Trump. He can change and defy conventional wisdom. He can do something that puts the Chinese on the back foot. And he absolutely needs to do that, Sid, because he needs to show Xi Jinping that he's not afraid of America, that he's not afraid of China. And right now, the Chinese think that Trump is afraid of them. So that is not good. I'm not saying the Chinese are right. I'm saying that's the way they're looking at it.
Yeah, no. This is why Trump is mad at you, Gordon, because he's even though you're probably accurate. I know I'm right. Even though you may be accurate. So then tell me, to put the Chinese on their back foot, as you just said, is that tariffs? Is that trade? He's not going to threaten them with any military involvement. So practically, what does President Trump do to say to Xi, hey, tough guy, calm down. I'm about to put you in your place.
Two things. First of all, remember, Trump warned that any country that would supply Iran with weapons during the course of the war would be hit with an American additional 50% tariff on their goods. Trump needs to do that. I mean, the evidence is there for everyone to see. So I think Trump needs to make good on his threat. Otherwise, the Chinese will think he's just hollow man. The other thing he needs to do is, we know that Chinese banks have been laundering money for the Chinese gangs. They've been complicit in this. Secretary Bessent, Treasury Secretary, has been warning about employing Section 311 of the USA Patriot Act, which would disconnect the Chinese banks from their dollar accounts. Look, we need to do this, regardless of Trump's visit or no visit, because China right now has a free pass to violate American laws. If we're not going to enforce our laws, we need to repeal them. But the worst thing is today, and that is, we say we got these laws, but we basically say to China, come here and violate our laws because we're happy for you to money launder. We didn't let Pablo Escobar launder money through New York, but we will let you. That's really wrong.
Is that really happening? 100%?
100%. The Chinese money laundering gangs have taken over the money laundering business around the world, not just for the Mexican cartels. We know that these Chinese money laundering gangs use Chinese banking apps. They use the Chinese banking system to do this. China's banking system is tightly controlled. Remember, China is basically a totalitarian state. The Chinese know exactly what these Chinese gangs are doing. So, yeah, these Chinese banks are complicit in money laundering for Mexican drug lords and for other bad actors around the world. And, Bessent has been warning them over the last couple months, last couple weeks, but we haven't seen anything happen. And this is not just a Trump issue. This is a Biden issue. This is an Obama issue. We've known the Chinese have been doing this stuff, and we have not had the courage to enforce our own laws. So this is on us, Sid.
Gordon Chang, Gordon G. Chang on Twitter. I know ideally Xi would love to have his Chinese car makers here in the U.S. market, and we want those rare earth minerals, right? I mean, those things are used, everything from your smartphones to defense systems to AI. Those are two major topics on the table on Thursday and Friday, Chinese car makers and rare earth minerals. Where do you see that going?
Well, I don't know what Trump will do, but Trump absolutely should not allow Chinese EVs into our country. They are rolling spy machines. They transmit data back to China. In other words, you drive a Chinese EV onto a U.S. military base, they see everything. Also, the Chinese can remotely control these cars. So if they want to, they can drive your car off a cliff with you in it. So this is just wrong. The Biden administration, to its great credit, in January 2025, issued regulations that effectively prevent Chinese EVs on America's roads. We need to put that into legislation, as some Republican congressmen are trying to do, because this needs to be more than just an executive order. It needs to be permanent legislation. And the last thing we should do is allow Chinese to make cars in our country. And that's a long conversation. There are a lot of reasons, but we do not want China to take over Detroit. And that's what would happen because of Chinese subsidies.
Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.